Alrighty everyone, we are getting closer to 2023, which by the way is described to be the very beginning of the golden age of Star Wars by both Favreau and Filoni. They want to make sure that every single Star Wars show that's going to come out from that point on forward is going to be a very big hit and or a success, and they really want to make it a constant flow of successful Star Wars stories in a row. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, for those of you that have been very much unaware, we have, of course, a lot of show announcements on the horizon that will take place at Star Wars Celebration next year. So that's going to be taking place in Europe this time around, and it's going to have a lot more announcements than last year's. Now, the thing about 2023 is that D23 is like going to be the event, bigger than Celebration when it comes to all of the future announcements of shows coming out on the line. Now, apart from all of this, we already know that a lot of actors and or actresses have been coming forward, talking more about their experience with not just the sequel trilogy movies, but also with things like the Kenobi show and the Boba Fett series, etc., and being more honest and direct with the fans. And on the top of the list that does that is no other than Daisy Ridley. Now, there's a reason why she's been a little bit more forward, is that she's not involved in Star Wars for the most part anymore. Sure, she is set to come back as a couple of cameos as an older version of Rey for a planned post-Episode 9 series by John and Dave, but not that she's going to have a major role or anything. You know, she's going to pop in a couple of times here and there. That's the overall plan, so that they can give us their version of how Rey should have been portrayed. Now, on top of this, alright, with both Disney and Lucasfilm getting ready to develop new Star Wars TV shows and movies that will take, of course, many stories from Star Wars legends, it's noted that just recently actress Daisy Ridley exposed more about Lucasfilm as a company during her time that she spent on the sequel trilogy movies and revealed substantial details of controversial subjects. Now, Daisy went on to state the following: "When I was working on 9, the thing that I think hurt me the most emotionally was how, in the end, they didn't want anything to do with George coming on set. Believe it or not, but he was working with us for quite a long time when we were doing reshoots and working on many sequences that involved things like the Force Ghosts, Palpatine using a lightsaber, which was amazing by the way, and we had so much Ben Solo footage that George helped us out with. He was such a respectful person, and I really adore him for that." Now, let me just pause for a second of what Daisy's putting out here, and it does match up with what Ian McDiarmid said before in the past. Ian himself said that, yes, there were a couple of scenes that he actually got to toy around with a lightsaber in Episode 9 that actually went cut. And the thing that I have a problem with that is, this, I think, would have really added more value to Palpatine. Now, I get it. Listen, Star Wars is not just all about lightsabers. I understand that. But you know what? The lightsabers are an aesthetic. It really is. Not just to the franchise, but to some of the characters. And it kind of adds a little bit more value to the Force-oriented characters. It's one of the main reasons why I think Finn deserved to use the saber more so in The Rise of Skywalker. That would have been a blast. But everything with Palpatine, you know, he didn't really do all that much if you really think about it. You know, at the end of the day, the most action that he really got was using Force Lightning upon Ben Solo, or should I say on Rey, and eventually getting that deflected back at him. That was really the most action that he got besides the rejuvenation technique. Now, apart from this, alright, Daisy Ridley putting Lucasfilm on the hot seat here and really saying a lot of things about how George had worked with them, confirming that, about how he had a lot of scenes that were being made during the reshoots. You guys may recall, we talked about that years ago, by the way, we covered this. All the reshoots of Episode 9 is the reason why we did not get that trailer during the holiday season of 2018. I don't know if you guys remember this, but during holiday season of 2018, there was supposed to be a trailer. Even Disney teased a trailer coming out, and we heard nothing after that. It just got canceled, but with no official announcement of a cancellation or anything like that. Disney was putting out a lot of teases on Twitter here and there, but nothing ever came out of it, and that had to do with reshoots. Now, George and Kathy still, to this day, have a grudge. It's why George never attended the world premiere of Episode 9. Now, moving on to what she also has to say, she states, "It was very sad to see Kennedy jump in and take these out of the movie, and there seems to be a serious creative difference between her and George. You see, Lucas felt that we needed to pay more tribute to the Skywalkers, and I agreed, but toward the end of filming, Kathy felt not so much. It was about how they could use the Skywalker name in that title of the movie in order to attract audiences, and that was the one big criticism that I and others had, is that Kathy wanted to use the title to deliberately draw in an audience that ended up being nothing near close to what they had expected. I will always love the time I spent on these movies, but I will admit that 9 was a brutal production, with many letdowns with large amounts of my scenes getting cut that I worked so hard on." And here's a good example, we talked about this too, is that Daisy Ridley was supposed to have a lot about, playing the character of Dark Rey in everything, in the Episode 9 movie. She was going to have a lot more Dark Rey scenes than what we got. And there was even a moment in there, and we talked about this too, where both Dark Rey and Kylo Ren were supposed to fight in a very interesting type of vision, or some kind of weird force-related, force bond in a vision. It was a concept, they tried to do it, didn't work out, and I guess they just could not really go through with it and all. But at the end of the day, when you look at a show, or, a TV show by John and Dave, and what they're doing in contrast to the sequel trilogy movies, you could see that there is a big difference in who's passionate and who's not. Now, as I've said multiple times, everything related to this, the sequels, in my opinion, are not the great movies out there. They have good moments. They do have good moments. There's no lying about that. I think a lot of you will agree that episodes 7 through 9 have good moments. Of course, episode 8 has the least few amount of them, but I think that, things such as, Palpatine being able to use that Force Lightning technique against the ships, that was an amazing moment. When you have other things out there like Kylo Ren literally placing his hand on the melted Vader helmet. I mean, it's little moments like that that really stand out to me. So, the thing about Daisy putting Lucasfilm on full blast here and just really kind of showing fans what really went down between Lucasfilm, George, and many of the scenes that just got cut and Kathleen Kennedy had no remorse about at all, and she didn't even want George on set anymore. It was a very messy production. In fact, it was a messier production, believe it or not, than the Acolyte that it is in the state of right now. That's why the Acolyte is having a lot of problems, and why John and Dave are stepping in to help out and really prevent it from being a total nightmare. So, overall, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. From night to moon, we hear them moans again.